Hi, everyone. We're the Good Doctors of Abby Research. I'm Dr. Hinson.
And I'm Dr. Donnelly.
And welcome to our Start Smart goal setting webinar for 2019.
It is absolutely fabulous to have you here. We are going to go away. You'll hear our voices, though, and we're going to throw up a PowerPoint so that we can make sure that everybody is on the same page as we go.
So you are in the right place if you're interested in goal setting, first of all. But if you're looking for a model that's going to help set you accountable for your goals throughout the year, you're in the right place if you want to get a head start. It's the first week of January as we're recording this, but this will run all the time. So at any point you're ready to get started with your goal setting, this is a great model for you. If you feel like you might need a little help strategizing about how to plan for the next year, this is a great webinar for you. And if you want a model that you can give to your employees, you're in the right place.
So many options for people who are here for the right reasons.
We hope you have found one of those reasons on that list or even another one.
Yeah. So the thing to know is that we are the good doctors. You may, if you're just a couple seconds late, we apologize that you didn't see our little introduction, but I am Dr. Kristen Donnelly. The voice that is speaking is the one in this photo with the glasses.
And I am Dr. Erin Hinson. The voice that is speaking is the one with the curly hair.
We met in 2011 while working on our postgraduate degrees in Northern Ireland. We both have social science degrees. Mine is in sociology and Dr. Hinson's is in history and anthropology. And what that means is that we are specifically trained to understand how individuals interact with systems and organizations, and then how those organizations and systems interact with individuals. It's kind of this really straightforward but complicated relationship between individuals and cultures, and it's something that we are professionally trained to analyze, understand, and explain. And when we were looking when I first started Abby Research, I started about 1.5 years before Erin joined me full time. I realized that the best way that we can use these gifts is to help people like you work with other people better rather than sitting in a library and writing papers. We decided to hone the analytical skills and bring them to business problems. We also have business experience and research experience back behind us.
So what are you going to learn in today's webinar? We're going to be talking about our SMART goal setting model, SMART in all caps. And this isn't our model. We didn't create it, but we've adapted it based on our own business strategies and philosophies. So the SMART model was first developed in 1981 by a man named George Doran. And he wrote an article for a business an online business journal outlining these SMART goals and SMART steps to take. So for us, for him anyway, the perspective was looking at how a manager can help their employees with their goals. But we've adapted it and changed a little bit of the language to make it applicable to anyone. So it's not just from a top-down perspective, but for everybody who needs to set goals in their life, which is really everybody.
Everybody. So as we said earlier, one of the things that's important about the SMART goals model is that it works for both personal and professional goals. And we're going to be talking about really pragmatic professional goals in a way, but these are also good kind of methods to use for setting like fun, frivolous goals too. If you're looking to read a certain number of books this year, or if you are hoping to maybe expand your consumption of a certain kind of art, or do a certain kind of physical workout, perhaps these are also good models. We are not fans of New Year's resolutions at all. And Dr. Hinson has actually done a great video explaining and breaking down why we don't believe in them. So if you're inclined to do resolutions, we'd actually encourage you, instead of setting resolutions, to set these SMART goals instead.
So let's get down to the brass tacks, to the model itself. So first we have the letter S, and S stands for specific. So whenever you're thinking about making a goal, personal or professional, you want to make it as specific as possible. Dr. Donnelly used a couple of examples there that were really handy. So if you're looking, you want to increase the number of books you read per year. A great way to start that would be to decide the specific number of books rather than saying something more general. So the example we have on this slide is a business focused one. Sign 3 new clients by June, very specific. A weak version of a goal would be earn more money, because you don't really know the specifics of it.
And when we're saying weak and strong, we're not trying to make judgment statements on those goals. We're really more making judgment statements on the framing of the goals. So earning more money is a strong goal. That's great.
Very cool.
We're big fans of it. We think that's awesome.
We endeavor to earn more money as well.
Yeah. Listen, like, vacations don't pay for themselves, y'all. But like, framing it in using ambiguous terms like more or less or such as things is going to make your goal very difficult to achieve, because you're going to keep feeling like the goalposts are moved. When we talk about specificity, it's and all these other letters, we're talking about your ability to achieve those goals. So again, not judgment statements on the goals themselves, just on the language you use to talk about them.
Okay, moving on to M, the letter M, and M stands for measurable. So the second step for the SMART goals is making sure that it's something you can measure, something you can keep track of, so that you can note your progress along those goals. So if you're doing a personal goal, maybe it's about, learning a new type of exercise, you want to learn yoga. That's great. So making that measurable would mean saying how many times you want to practice yoga per week, so that you can measure whether or not you're achieving that goal. The example we have on the slide is also, again, business related. So organize one lunch and learn per month, if that's something you're looking to bring into your business or into your leadership strategy. And a weekly worded goal would be socialize more with my colleagues. You can't really measure how much is that socializing. So we would encourage you to make that more specific and measurable.
Yeah. So perhaps you are somebody who is highly introverted, and even in your own life, you struggle to make new friends because interacting with other human beings is such a drain, which we totally understand. And so if you want to set a really measurable goal for yourself, it could be set up 2 dinners a quarter with friends and ask that friend to bring us another friend, something like that. Those are really, really measurable goals.
Moving on to our third letter, we're on A, and it stands for achievable. So really, it's a common sense approach we're taking here. You're making your goals specific and measurable, and now they need to be something that you're going to be able to accomplish. And a lot of times we deal with companies and we work with clients, and they're in a dual process of kind of this pie in the sky, big vision ideas, but then also things that need to be pragmatically achievable. So goal setting is not the time for vision setting, we would contend. It's the time for being specific and achievable with what you're going to set your goals for. So on our slide, we have the example, pitch 2 new project ideas in Q1. That is something that, for whatever situation you're working in, is you feel you can achieve within the first 3 months of the year. And a weak version of that would be, get promoted 3 pay grades by the end of the year, because I don't know in what situation that would be possible. If you are watching this and that is something that you feel is achievable, please let us know, because we want your trade secrets.
Yeah. The other thing with achievable is that it's something that you have to have fairly exclusive control over. So the thing with getting promoted is that you don't have exclusive control over that. Pitching project ideas, you would have exclusive control over. So by making them achievable, you contain the power within yourself to make them achievable. The thing with visions and big dreams, it tends to be that they are communal goals. Whereas these kind of SMART goals is we're trying to encourage you to set ones that can be marked individually.
Okay, moving on to R. We're going right through this model. And R for us stands for relatable. And in other goal setting models that use the SMART model, you might see realistic, but we prefer relatable, because that means that it's something that makes sense to you and makes sense to others. As a research background, we talk often about we believe that everyone needs a copy editor. So everyone needs somebody else to kind of go over ideas and concepts and goals, just to make sure that they are doing what you want to do, and that they are something that you can achieve. So helping other people understand your goals and making sure that other people understand what you're trying to achieve just means that that you can have somebody else that's accountable to what you're trying to achieve.
So the joke that we have down there is about attending networking events each month, which is, as much as most people hate networking events, we know what they are. And then the other one is about a video game that was popular in like the early 2000s.
That I didn't even understand when I typed it out what it meant. And then Dr. Donnelly explained it to me. So it's one of those kind of jokey examples that if your goals aren't understandable by anybody else, then how are they going to make sure that you're reaching them?
This would also be like a hat tip to a lot of federal governments around the world who really like to use like abbreviations. And those of us that are trying to like file grant requests are like, what does this mean? Looking at you, Northern Ireland, looking at you. And finally, we have timely.
So T is timely, and that means really just making sure that your SMAR goals are also something that are relevant to what you're working on for the next calendar year or for the next period that you're working on. Really, you can start using SMART goals at any point of the year. It's usually this time of year, around the end of the year and the beginning of a new year, where people start to make goals. But we believe this model is really usable at any time, but they need to be something that's a pressing challenge for you, or an area for growth that you want to work on in the present time, or something coming up very quickly. So the example that we have is implement a new accounting software in Q1. So you've realized over the last year, you've done all your financial accounts and assessments, and you realize that you really do need this accounting software to help you move into the next phase of your growth for your company. And a weekly worded goal would be, open a second location by June. That meets probably none of our SMART assessment goals, but certainly that one is not really timely. That's something coming up in June isn't the most pressing issue that you need to address.
And the other thing too with this is that there are a lot of corporations that do strategic planning for 5, 10, 15 years out. That's great. Especially giant corporations or giant universities need to do that. For smaller organizations that are more agile and usually running more lean, so organizations that have like under 100 employees, for instance, especially those that have under 20 employees, we encourage 9-month strategic plans and 8-month and 36-month strategic plans. Instead of thinking in year cycles, think instead in month chunks, because that will also help you focus this timeliness. Because things, as they say, as the Boy Meets World once said, life comes at you fast, so you better get a helmet. And having a shorter, more agile strategic plan that is more timely, goals that are timely can help you, are essentially the helmet in that scenario.
Okay, so what have we learned? We have learned that forming strategic goals for any point in the year, but we'll start with 2019, requires you to take the time to think about and reflect on what your key objectives are. SMART goals isn't necessarily useful for vision casting or kind of big ideas. We're looking at everyday pragmatic approaches to goal setting for your immediate needs going forward, your smaller needs going forward. So you have to make these goals specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and timely in order to make sure that you meet your objectives.
So what comes next for you? We hope that as you're listening to this, you're thinking about how you're going to use the SMART goals yourself. Please be aware that if this is the first time you're interacting with us, that we would love for this not to be the last time. We work with organizations and individuals to goal set, strategic plan, and a whole host of other issues. Not only do we focus on the strategy side of organizational health, but we focus on the people side of organizational health. And we would love to walk through issues like employee retention, conflict management, cross-generational stuff, or millennials in the workplace, as Forbes keeps calling it, issues around emotional intelligence, any kind of businessy emotional buzzwords you don't understand, we probably do and would love to help you with. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. If now or in the future you think that having a chat with us would be helpful, the first call is complimentary as we navigate if we'll be a good fit with each other.
So we'd really like to thank you for joining us on this Start Smart Goal Setting webinar. Here up on the screen are all the wonderful ways that you can get a hold of us, our website, our phone number, and every possible social media stands for Snapchat because
it scares us.
It's intimidate us and we feel too old for it. But everything else, we post daily content across these platforms, and it's a great way to engage with us and learn more about if our company would be a fit for whatever kind of issue that you're facing.
We also do lots of conversations in person. This webinar that you're enjoying right now can be customized for your organization and presented directly to your employees as a lunch and learn remotely or in person if you are in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or would like to let us hang out in your town. That would be fine
Somewhere
too.
That is accessible by bus, train, or plane.
We really like American Airlines, but we're flexible. And we are just I want to reiterate what Dr. Hinson said a few minutes ago. We're really honored that you were able to join with us and that you were able to give up your precious time. We tried to keep this as brief as possible because we recognize that time is incredibly precious and your gift of it to us is not unnoticed. So we look forward to speaking with you in the future. All the best from the good doctors. I'm Dr. Donnelly.
I'm Dr. Hinson.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.